Hi, I'm Katie Seaver, and I help people who want to stop obsessing and learn how to eat and live in a more authentic and luscious way. Last week, I posted a video about how to make really tough decisions. And today I want to talk about the next step. What to do when you know the decision that you're supposed to make, but you're still scared out of your mind. And this can be true for so many of us. We're very clear, even though it's very, very scary, on the decision that we need to make. But when it comes to actually putting it to practice, we're still just really scared and we don't know what to do. So I want to share with you one technique that doesn't work for me and why I think it doesn't work, and one technique that really works for me. So let's get started with what doesn't work for me. The technique I hear around a lot and that I've used on myself or had other people use on me is to get really rational about it. To say, okay, well, you're afraid, but what are you actually afraid of? So if you're about to break up with someone, but you're still really afraid and you are too scared to do it, you'll say, okay, well, I'm afraid that if I break up with them, then no one will ever love me and I'll be alone forever. And every night I'll just be home and I'll cry and I'll have no friends. And so then you're supposed to be like, oh, well, I guess that's irrational, so I should just not be afraid of that. So sometimes that works. That certainly worked for me occasionally, to some extent, but I find that it never feels very satisfying. I always feel foolish for being afraid because it's so clear to me that obviously that's not true, to go to that sort of worst case scenario. But at the same time, I never quite stop being afraid. I'm just embarrassed that I'm afraid. So I want to share with you a technique that does the opposite, a technique that really acknowledges the fear, that doesn't try to get rid of it, and then that way makes it feel safer. So the key to this, for me, is to distinguish between your fear of the pain and the pain itself. So here's what I mean by that. It's very often true for me and for so many people I work with that what you're really afraid of is the fear of the pain. So what I mean by that is that if I'm afraid to break up with someone, my fear around what's going to happen is that my pain is going to be this entity that just stretches on forever and ever with no boundaries and no end and just makes me feel crappy for the rest of my life. When the reality of it is that pain is not like that. The reality of pain is that you're going to have to take it day by day. So if you break up with someone and it's really scary, or you move to a new place and it's really scary, or you leave your job and it's really scary, there's going to be a day and you will be scared and sad and hurt or whatever it is, and you'll deal with the pain in that day. That you'll call a friend, or you'll take a bath, or you'll take a walk, or you'll do something like reading something that will make you feel better. And then you'll feel a little better. And then you'll go to sleep, and then you'll wake up again, and maybe you'll hurt again just as much the next day. But in that day, it's much more finite. In that day, you can handle it. Again, you can call someone you love. Again, you can take a walk. You can take 2 walks. You can take a bath. You can read something. And that day is not boundless. The scary thing about pain is that we're convinced that it's going to go on forever. But when you think about pain as occurring in these finite daily segments, like, I can deal with being in pain for a day. I have strategies. I know how to deal with that. I'm not going to deny that I'll hurt, because I absolutely will if it's a decision that's really scary and also important. But if you just think of it as being literally, as cheesy as it sounds, one day at a time, and think, okay, what can I do in a given day to handle it? That gives us strength. That gives me strength, at least. So I hope that it's helpful for you. If this resonates at all, I hope you'll leave a comment below this video letting us know as a community whether this resonates and something in your life that you've applied it to. I'd love to respond to you and cheer you on. And if you like this content, there's a lot more like it at katieseaver.com. And I hope to see you soon.